Students, I am Bharti Patel. We will learn about the next topic, mechanism of respiration. Respiration is a biological process involving exchange of gases between the atmosphere and the lungs, and it results in the formation of ATP. That means it is a biological process which can involve in the exchange of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen between the atmosphere and the lungs, which results in the formation of ATP. That means the energy can be formed. This formed energy is in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It includes the following processes. First step, that is breathing. Second, external respiration. Third, internal respiration. And fourth one is cellular respiration. All these four processes are included in the process of mechanism of respiration. The first step in the mechanism of respiration is breathing. Breathing, it is a physical process in which the gaseous exchange can take place between atmosphere and lungs. It involves inspiration and expiration. Inspiration means inhalation, means breathing in, and expiration means exhalation, breathing out. Both these steps involved parts of the thoracic case, the ribs, sternum, intercostal muscles, and muscles of the diaphragm. Then in breathing, the first step, it is inspiration. Inspiration means breathing in. The atmospheric air is taken in to the lungs. It occurs due to the pressure gradient formed between the lungs and the atmosphere. That means inspiration process occurs due to the pressure gradient. What is pressure gradient? Pressure gradient is the difference in hydrostatic pressure on either side of a membrane. Pressure gradient means the difference in hydrostatic pressure on either side of a membrane. And gradient means a series of progressively increasing or decreasing differences in the growth rate, metabolism, or physiological activity of a cell, organ, or organism. Then this pressure gradient can be formed between the lungs and the atmosphere. Inspiration is an active process in which the diaphragm becomes flat and goes downward. The external intercostal muscle contract, so the ribs and sternum moves upward and outward. Here the figure of inspiration, that is breathing in. This is the rib cage. This rib cage moves upward and forward. That is, this rib cage moves upward and forward. Because of what? Because inspiration is an active process in which the diaphragm, this is the diaphragm. See here, arrow. This is the diaphragm. The diaphragm contracts and moves down. The diaphragm contracts and moves down due to the inspiration process. And here at the same time, the external intercostal muscles contract. So the ribs and sternum, moves upward and outward. This leads to an increase in the thoracic volume and decrease in pressure of thorax and the lungs. To equalize the low pressure inside the lungs, air from the atmosphere rushes into the lungs. This is called inspiration. This is called inspiration. Then the next step, it is expiration. Expiration means breathing out, that is emission of air from the lungs. Emission of air from the lungs. The thorax contracts, causing air to be exhaled. During this process, that is during the expiration, diaphragm relaxes and is pushed upwards. This is, see in this figure, this is the figure of expiration, that is breathing out. Rib cage moves down and inward. This is the rib cage. It can be moves down and inward. See here the inspiration diagram also. In inspiration diagram, the rib cage moves upward and outward. Here in expiration, the rib cage moves down and inward. And the diaphragm becomes dome shaped. Diaphragm can relaxes and it is pushed upward. See, this is the diaphragm. It can relax, diaphragm relax and it can move upward. And it is dome shape. Here it is not dome shape. It is moves downward. It contracts and moves downwards. Here in expiration, it is relaxes and moves upward direction. This causes the decrease in thoracic volume and leads to increase in pressure in the thorax and lungs as compared to the atmospheric pressure. So air from the lungs, it can rushes out. It can rushes out. This is called as expiration. One inspiration and one expiration is one breath. Then the second step in the process of mechanism of respiration is external respiration. That is exchange of gases at the alveolar level. See, this is the figure of exchange of gases between alveolus and capillary. This is the outside structure, it is the capillary network, and the inside is alveolus. The single, it is called as alveolus, and many it is called as alveoli. An alveolus consists of a layer of simple squamous epithelium resting on a basement membrane. Here it is the alveolar membrane, which can made up of simple squamous epithelium which can rest on the basement membrane. Intimately, it is associated with a dense network of capillaries. Intimate means having a very close relationship. That means the alveolus and the capillary network having very close relationship. Then the capillary wall is also made up of simple squamous epithelium resting on a thin basement membrane. Both the layers have similar structure and are thin walled. Together they make up the respiratory membrane. Both these two layers, they can make up the respiratory membrane. In figure, see here, the respiratory membrane is present, which is made up of the layers, that is squamous epithelial cells of alveolar cells and squamous epithelial cells of capillary wall. And in this respiratory membrane, the gaseous exchange can occur between the alveolar air. The gaseous exchange can occur between the alveolar air and the blood. Then the next is diffusion of gases takes place an area of higher partial pressure to an area of lower partial pressure until the partial pressure in the two regions reaches equilibrium. Here in the figure, according to the concentration gradient, the diffusion of gases can take place from higher partial pressure to lower, that is higher partial pressure to an area of lower partial pressure until the partial pressure in the two regions reaches equilibrium. Means what? Means diffusion of gases can take place from the area of higher partial pressure, म्हणजे हाय पार्शियल प्रेशर असलेल्या एरिया मधून लो पार्शियल प्रेशर असलेल्या एरियाकडे जे गॅसेस असेल तर ते डिफ्यूज होतात किंवा ते गॅसेस एक्सचेंज केले जातात. जोपर्यंत तिथली लेव्हल जी असेल, दोघं बाजूची लेव्हल जी असेल ती इक्विलिब्रियम येत नाही किंवा समतोल त्याच्यामध्ये येत नाही, समान होत नाही, तोपर्यंत ते गॅसेस एक्सचेंज तिथं डिफ्युजन मेथडने एक्सचेंज होत राहतात. द पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ कार्बन डायऑक्साइड ऑफ blood entering the pulmonary capillaries is about 45 mmHg. The partial pressure of carbon dioxide of blood entering the pulmonary capillaries. The pulmonary capillaries मध्ये जे काही पार्शियल प्रेशर कार्बन डायऑक्साइडचा असेल तर तो किती असतो? 45 mmHg. While the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in alveolar air, it is about 40 mmHg. And due to this difference, the carbon dioxide diffuses from capillaries into alveolus. Due to this difference, the carbon dioxide diffuses. Here in the figure, the blue arrows can show the carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveolus or alveolar air, alveolar part. Then similarly, partial pressure of oxygen of blood in pulmonary capillaries, partial pressure of oxygen of blood in pulmonary capillaries is about 40 mmHg, while in alveolar blood it is about 104 mmHg. And due to this difference, that means in capillaries the partial pressure of oxygen is low, and in alveolar blood the partial pressure of oxygen is high, that is 104 mmHg. And due to this difference, oxygen diffuses from alveoli to capillaries. That means here see in the figure the red arrows shows that the oxygen which can be diffuses into the capillaries from alveolar to capillaries, diffuses into capillaries from alveolus. Then the next step, that is internal respiration. In case of internal respiration, two main components of blood are involved in transport of the respiratory gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen. These two main components are, the first one is called as RBCs. RBCs, that means red blood corpuscles. We can see detail in the circulation topic. Red blood corpuscles which are responsible for carrying oxygen and carbon dioxide. Then second component is plasma. Plasma, it is a clear light yellow colored or straw colored liquid portion of red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets, which can be constitute about 55%. Its main role is to take nutrients, hormones and proteins to the parts of the body that need it. In case of internal respiration, the first step is transport of oxygen. Only 3% is transported in a dissolved state. That means only 3% of oxygen is transported in a dissolved state by plasma, and remaining 97% is bound to hemoglobin, that is hemoglobin present in the RBCs, red blood corpuscles. Hemoglobin, it is a respiratory pigment, iron containing pigment, which is present in the red blood corpuscles, which can act as the respiratory carrier. Hemoglobin has a high affinity for oxygen and it combines with it to form oxyhemoglobin. Theoretically, one molecule of hemoglobin has 4 ferrous ions, each of which can pick up a molecule of oxygen. That is Hb plus 4O2. It gives Hv4O2. Oxyhemoglobin is transported from lungs to the tissues where it radially dissociates to release oxygen. Oxyhemoglobin is transported from lungs. Oxyhemoglobin, it is transported from lung to the tissues where it radially means easily. It easily dissociates. Dissociates means not connected to each other. It dissociates to release oxygen. That is Hb4O2. It dissociates to form hemoglobin plus 4O2. However, the degree of saturation of hemoglobin with O2, it depends upon O2 tension. It depends upon O2 tension. Then what is oxygen tension or O2 tension? That is partial pressure of O2 or oxygen. O2 tension or oxygen tension is the activity of the molecules of oxygen dissolved in the plasma. Dissolved in the plasma. Then the relationship between oxyhemoglobin saturation and oxygen tension, that is partial pressure of O2, is called oxygen dissociation curve. This oxygen dissociation curve, this can show in the next slide. This oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve is a sigmoid curve, slightly S-shaped curve, and it shifts towards the right. It can shift towards the right due to what? Due to the increase in hydrogen ion concentration, increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide, rise in temperature, and rise in DPG. DPG stands for 2,3-diphosphoglycerate. 2,3-diphosphoglycerate, which is formed in the red blood corpuscles during the process of glycolysis. It lowers the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. Then next topic, that is the Bohr effect. Bohr effect, it is the shift of oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve due to change in partial pressure of carbon dioxide in blood. Bohr effect, that is oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve जी असेल तर ती थोडीशी shift होते. तर का shift होते? Here in the see in the figure. This is the normal sigmoid curve. This is the normal sigmoid curve which is slightly S shape. That is normal partial pressure of carbon dioxide. pH is also normal. But the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is changed due to the change in partial pressure of carbon dioxide. When it is high, then pH of blood is low. This can shift downward direction. And when it is low, that means the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low, then pH is high, and this curve is shifted upward direction. See here in the figure. This is the hemoglobin oxygen saturation, and this is the oxygen partial pressure of oxygen mmHg. Then this is the Bohr effect curves. Then next is the Haldane effect. Oxyhemoglobin functions as an acid. It decreases the pH of blood due to increase in the number of hydrogen ions. Carbonates changes into water and carbon dioxide. We can see in the next slide. In alveoli, where partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low, in case of alveoli, where partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low, oxygen binds with hemoglobin. But in the tissues, where partial pressure of O2 is lower and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is high, then in this condition hemoglobin does not hold as much oxygen. It releases oxygen for diffusion into the tissue cells. Then second step, that is transport of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is radially soluble in water. Radially means easily. Carbon dioxide is also easily soluble in water, and it is transported by RBCs and plasma in three different forms. The first form, it is transported by plasma in solution form. Only 7% carbon dioxide is transported in a dissolved form as carbonic acid, which can break down into carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide plus water, it can form the carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. Here in the figure shows oxygen pickup and carbon dioxide pickup at the tissues. ऑक्सिजन आणि कार्बन डायऑक्साइड कसा पिकअप केला जातो ते या फिगरद्वारे आपल्याला पाहायला मिळते. दिस इज द टिश्यू सेल्स, दिस इज द टिश्यू सेल्स, दिस इज द प्लाज्मा and this is the red blood cells. Red blood cells. Then the tissue cells, carbon dioxide, that is the blue arrow. Blue arrow shows the carbon dioxide can be diffuses inside the plasma and RBCs. Here the red arrow shows the oxygen which is bind with hemoglobin. It can diffuses into the tissue cells. Then the second one is carbon dioxide can be transported by bicarbonate ions. Nearly 70% of carbon dioxide released by the tissue cells diffuses into the plasma and then into the RBCs. First it diffuses in the plasma and then into the RBCs. In the RBCs, carbon dioxide combined with water in RBCs. This is the carbon dioxide. See here in figure, this carbon dioxide can be come from tissue cells in the red blood cells and it can be combined with water. This carbon dioxide can be combined with water in the presence of zinc containing enzyme. This enzyme is called as carbonic anhydrase to form carbonic acid. Carbonic anhydrase enzyme is found in the RBCs and not in the plasma. It is found in the RBCs and not in the plasma. The rate of formation of carbonic acid inside the RBC is very high. The rate of formation of carbonic acid inside the RBCs is very high as compared to its formation in the plasma. Carbonic acid being unstable almost immediately dissociates into carbonate and H+ ions in the presence of an enzyme carbonic anhydrase, leading to large accumulation of carbonates inside the RBCs. Here the carbon dioxide, see in the figure, carbon dioxide plus water, it gives carbonic acid. This carbonic acid dissociates into H+ ions and carbonates, HCO-3. Then it can be unstable and dissociates. The carbonic acid being unstable and it is immediately dissociate into HCO-3 plus H+ ions. See this reaction, carbon dioxide plus water, it can give carbonic acid which dissociates in the presence of carbonic anhydrase H plus ions plus HCO minus 3. Then it thus moves out of the RBCs. Hence it can move out of the RBCs. This would bring about imbalance of the charge inside the RBCs. Due to this, carbonates which can be moved out of the RBCs, due to these carbonates which can be moved out to the RBCs, it can imbalance of the charge inside the RBCs. To maintain the ionic balance between the RBCs and plasma, chloride diffuses into the RBCs. See in the figure, the chloride ions can be diffuses in the RBCs because of what? Due to the maintain the ionic balance between plasma and RBCs. This movement of chloride ions is known as chloride shift, or it is also called as Hamburger's phenomenon. It is also called as Hamburger's phenomenon. See here in the figure, these chloride ions are shifted into the diffuses into the RBCs, and here this movement is called as chloride shift or Hamburger's phenomenon. Carbonate that comes into the plasma joins to sodium or potassium, forming sodium bicarbonate or potassium bicarbonate, which can maintain the pH level of blood, That is, carbonate plus sodium, it can give sodium bicarbonate. Carbonate plus potassium, it can give potassium bicarbonate. This hydrogen ion is taken up by protein, hemoglobin, Hb plus H plus. It gives HHB, that is reduced hemoglobin. Here HHB is formed. This is the reduced hemoglobin. These H plus ions might be expected to lower blood pH, but they are buffered by hemoglobin by the formation of deoxyhemoglobin, that is reduced hemoglobin. At the level of the lungs, in response to the low partial pressure of carbon dioxide of the alveolar air, hydrogen ions and bicarbonate ions recombine to form carbonic acid, and under the influence of carbonic anhydrase yields carbon dioxide and water. Here the process again reverse. That means the hydrogen ion concentration plus carbonate HCO minus 3, it can give carbonic acid, and then these carbonic acids can, under the influence of carbonic anhydrase, it gives carbon dioxide plus water. Then third step, that is by red blood cells. That means the carbon dioxide is transported by red blood cells. Nearly about 23% carbon dioxide binds with the amino groups of the hemoglobin and form a loosely bound compound that is called as carbaminohemoglobin. This molecule easily decomposes in region where the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low, that is in the alveolar region, releasing the carbon dioxide. Hb plus CO2, it gives HbCO2, that is carbaminohemoglobin. The last step in the mechanism of respiration is cellular respiration. It is the last step taking place inside the cell where food is oxidized and ATP is generated. It can be shown by two steps. Oxidation, the first step is called as oxidation and the second step is called as phosphorylation. Oxidation means what? We can see the previous video. Oxidation means the process in which the chemical substance changes because of addition of oxygen. It is called as oxidation. In case of oxidation process, breaking down of complex organic molecules into simple inorganic molecules with release of heat energy. Breaking down of complex organic molecules. What is complex organic molecules? For example, carbohydrates, proteins and lipids, that means fats, are the complex organic molecules. Carbohydrates, that is polysaccharides, starch is a polysaccharide which is converted into simple form, that is sugar, that is glucose and fructose. Then proteins can be converted into amino acids. Amino acids are the simpler form. Then fats or lipids can be converted into fatty acid and glycerol. So due to this breakdown of complex organic molecules into simpler inorganic molecules, energy is released, that is heat energy is released. C6H12O6 plus 6O2, it gives 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 686 kilocalorie. The second step, it is phosphorylation. Phosphorylation means it is a biochemical process that involves the addition of phosphate to an organic compound. That means the phosphate molecule can be added in an organic compound. This process is called as phosphorylation. It involves trapping the heat energy in the form of high energy bond of ATP molecules. ATP is used to carry out vital life processes and so is called as energy currency of the cell. That means during this phosphorylation process, the heat energy is trapped in the form of high energy bond of ATP molecule, adenosine triphosphate molecule. This ATP molecule is used to carry out व्हायटल लाईफ प्रोसेसेस. व्हायटल लाईफ प्रोसेसेस म्हणजे काय? महत्त्वाच्या प्रोसेसेस बॉडीमध्ये किंवा ऑर्गॅनिझमचा बॉडीमध्ये चालणाऱ्या महत्त्वाच्या प्रोसेसेस, जसं ग्रोथ आहे, बॉडी ग्रोथ असेल, मेटाबॉलिझम असेल, डायजेशन, रेस्पिरेशन, रिप्रोडक्शन, ऑल these vital life processes can require energy and which can be given by ATP. Hence, ATP molecules are called as energy currency of the cell. ADP, adenosine diphosphate, plus phosphate molecule, it plus 7.3 kilocalorie, it gives adenosine triphosphate molecules. Adenosine triphosphate molecules. Then the next topic is see or learn in the next video.